public-private space. So whether you are here as a student wondering what is next, a parent supporting a child's journey, or a professional seeking your next purpose-driven step, you are at the right place. So before we dive deep into the public management space, I would like just to do an introduction about Regenesys. Regenesys education has been around for over two decades now. It is committed to developing conscious leaders who drives impact, innovation, and ethical transformation in both business and the public sector. Regenesys offers full accredited qualification where we have the School of Law, the School of Technology, School of Economics, School of Finance, School of Business Management, and lastly but not least, School of Public Management that we'll be focusing on today. Our School of Public Management stands at the heart of that mission, training future public leaders who are bold, equipped, and ready to serve. We live in the time where South Africa needs courageous leadership more than ever. Leadership that listen, that understand policy, that delivers service. This is where you come in. And that is what this masterclass is about, helping you imagine a future, not just in a career, but in a career that matters. So once again, welcome. Stay engaged, ask questions, take notes. Most importantly, see yourself in the story, lessons and opportunity you will hear today. So what's going to happen is that I will introduce Mr. Donald Block, who will be talking to you. And he will do a presentation where after his presentation, he will give you time to ask questions. So what you can do during his session, when you have questions, just note it down. At the end of the session, we'll definitely have a Q&A where he will give you a chance to ask questions related to whatever topic that he's going to be addressing, and also questions related to anything that is related to Regenesys education, right? So let me introduce to you Mr. Donald Block. Mr. Donald Block is a senior facilitator with Regenesys School of Public Management. He is a former school manager with 27 years teaching experience with the Department of Education. He started facilitation at Regenesys School of Public Management in 2007 and has since risen to academic head position for undergraduate program. Mr. Block holds several degrees in public sector. His qualifications include secondary teacher's diploma, further diploma in education, bachelor's of education, postgraduate diploma in public management, and master's degree in public management. He is presently studying for a doctor in business management. He has successfully supervised many master's students in their dissertation research. He is a member of the Human Resource and Project Management Community of Practice Committees. Mr. Block is instrumental in the development of a new module, Public Health Management, as an elective subject for the Bachelor of Public Management. He also forms a team that organizes 3 very successful webinars for the school. He has since ascended to the position of academic head, improved the throughput rate of the higher certificate in public management, as well as dealing with the at-risk student for improved performance. He's a good mentor for newly recruited facilitators. Mr. Block, welcome.
Thank you so much, Winnie. Guys, welcome to this session. As it has been alluded to, we are going to look at the Bachelor of Public Management as the Regenesys School of Public Management. Now, for today, we'll be looking at this topic, careers in the public sector. serving communities, driving change, and promoting good governance in South Africa. I think this is the core of what is necessary for South Africa today, looking at all the challenges that we're experiencing in our country. Now, let me welcome everyone who came in here. You can see the word welcome. When you enter this room, learning is fun and cooperation is expected. Our positive attitude and mutual respect are part of everything we do and we say. So that is the School of Public Management there. Now, at the end, as you have been advised, I'm going to give you a chance to ask, questions that are related to what we have been selling to you. At the end there, then you can ask your questions, be open-minded and, say, I think, because remember, you're an important person, and listen carefully, but also try not to have any interruptions, I know now the kids are back from school. The schools have reopened and they want to, explain to you what happened today. But please listen carefully, one conversation at a time, and respect the opinions of others. Guys, no man is an island entirely upon yourself. We always remember that in life there will be someone who is more knowledgeable than you. You can't be the jack of all trades. As a result, respect the opinions of others, give constructive feedback, build on the ideas of others. You might find that someone knows something that you never, were aware that you don't know. And you might gain from that person and the remarks that that person is giving to us. Take some risk, of course, share new ideas and say, how about if you have a course in this? Is it possible that I can do 1, 2, 3? It's fun, so experience the fun there. Okay. Now, when you look at the objectives here, we want to inspire, we want to showcase, we want to introduce, but also drive applications for the July and October intake, because once you register with us this July, in October, then already your classes will start. Okay. So we are looking at those students, professionals and aspiring change makers, those people who want to see change, who want to be part of coming up with a better South Africa for all of us, to build careers in South Africa's public sector, but also to showcase how public sector professionals contribute to social impact. Of course, governance and transformation, because through your input, that is when we are going to see an impact, in the 3 problems that we're experiencing in South Africa. Okay? Unemployment, poverty, as well as that. So governance is important in achieving all that. When you think about, the Vision 2030, of course, which today might be 2064. But now, when you look at it, it also gives you that impetus to say, what is that I want to see transform? Okay, but it starts now with governance. Okay, so that we can realize those outcomes, those 12 outcomes of government. Okay, so we need you to empower yourself, come up with something that is tangible, that you can say, because I've studied this and I did it practically. We also looked at case studies, then I can implement that. Then you can come up with something that might shake, the whole of South Africa's public sector. But also, we want to introduce you, to this business of a Bachelor of Public Management, because this is a foundation for leadership in the public sector. All right. So, guys, let's carry on there. Now, who are the people who qualify, for this degree? Of course, grade 12 learners and recent school graduates. Okay. Gap year students who are interested in meaningful careers, because other students, sometimes, you don't have the resources, more especially financial resources, to can continue with your education. So after grade 12, then you say, let me take a gap year, maybe because of, those financial reasons, or maybe because of ill health or things like that. Okay. But now we are saying to you, come back. There are ways that we can help you. Okay. But we also have NGO, non-governmental organization professionals. and aspiring public sector workers. Those guys who want to see themselves in the public sector, all right? But NGOs are also welcome. Those guys who ensure that, ethics are upheld and that policies are implemented according to plan as well as according to government outcomes, and also ensure that people are treated equally, fairly, and, So as a result, we say you are all welcome. The parents, the community development advocates, those guys who are in the community, who ensure that communities have got opportunities and who help, communities in empowering themselves, but also in transformation of communities, small, medium enterprises, we talk about, township economy and all those guys. Now, if you want to get more and more so that you can improve yourself, so that you can, do whatever that you want to do to the best of your ability, you are the right person we are looking at. But also youth who are seeking stability, because there's some youth, sometimes you choose a wrong profession and you realize that you are not geared up for that. Then you can come back and say, okay, fine, let me go to the public sector, all right? So you are welcome, okay? If now you are seeking stability, you seek purpose, and you are service-oriented, you want to serve. It can be in the municipality, can be in the national government, can be in the provincial government, but you want to serve your country. Okay, we are also open for that. Now, when you look at the public sector, actually, we say the public sector, actually, it defines, all institutions, agencies, and organizations which are managed by government. That's why sometimes people say it's the government, instead of saying the public sector. The government, which is, of course, the main body that will come up with policies, laws, and, and outcomes that they want to achieve, and, the vision of where South Africa is going. But the thing is, you will be that cog, in a well-oiled public sector machine, all right? So then the public sector will be all those institutions, agencies, organizations managed by the government that provide services to the public. Because the important thing here is services that we deliver to the public. Can be education, can be health, it can be security, all of those. It can be SOEs, all of those. Okay. Now, when you look at the components which are there in the public sector, okay, you are looking at those agencies I talked about. You are looking also at SOEs. You are also looking at different bodies which are there. You are looking at transportation. You are looking at education, public safety, healthcare, and all those are integral part of the public sector. Okay. Now, let us look at. You can see there the police. You can see the EMS, emergency rescue management services there. You can see the ambulances. You can see the law. And all those. You can see transport there. Okay. You can see justice. All right. Now, all of those are part of the public sector. All right. Now, when you look at the roles that you'll be playing in the public sector, now, the public sector ensures that the economy is up to standard, so that we look at whether we are geared, for improved economy, so that we can have more investment into our country, but also people can, get jobs, can get, that employment. Then we deal with unemployment, we deal with poverty, and we offer security, and, people then will stop, coming up with those things that are detrimental to our country once the economy is up to standard. And you can help them do that. But also with law enforcement. Once you've got our degree, you are able to also be part of management in the law enforcement sector there. The public services, where you have got all those, you've got the CETAs, you've got all those different services that we offer, right from health, okay? And you have got governmental services that are offered there by government. You've got education, you've got healthcare, you can be an elected official, okay? We ensure that all those are taken care of, but also, be part of, those people who ensure that public goods are taken care of, but also that they are managed correctly. The military, you can be part of the military, You can be part of the public enterprise, but also infrastructure. You can be part of those guys who manage the infrastructure in government. You can be part of the municipality. You can be part of, the provincial legislature, because province, we know they're responsible for the RDP, housing, human settlement, and all those things. Okay, so that is the public sector. All right. Now, another thing there that we have to ensure that we understand is why the public sector? Why the public sector? So the public sector is there to ensure that service delivery is up to the level best. Okay, that people get the best service delivered to them, but also to improve the economy of the country. Okay, so that we can have more and more direct, foreign direct investment, but also the investments which are in the country do not leave us and go offshore. All right, but also we want to resolve that unemployment, the challenge that we are facing in our country, but also by fighting unemployment and reducing it to an acceptable level, then we'll be reducing poverty, because people will be having something to put on the table. All right, but also you'll be part of, governance structures which are there. Ensure that people are accountable for their actions, for usage of the different public resources which are there. So governance is very, very important. Okay, it can be at whatever level, but there must be someone who ensures that things are done according to plan and according to the vision of the country, but also according to strategic plans that we normally go for and come up with, so that they are implemented. So you can be part of the governing structure, but also by doing that, then you'll have, improved and also resolved a lot of these world problems that are there. So you come up with those real world solutions. All right. But also, once you have done all those things, starting from yourself being happy, then you will have happy families, because now the community will be happy with the services that are meted out to them. Okay. So going further, let us see. Now, when we talk about driving change through public service, we are saying we are pushing a call to the next generation. The generation that was before us, our generation now, you can see, I'm at that higher level of generation, the BBTs born before technology. But now, what about my children? What about those who come after me? And what about my grandchildren? Okay. So we are saying there must be change. There must be, those guys who come up and say, we are the people who can come up with a difference. Because you come up with different ideas when you study, with our BPM, Bachelor of Public Management. That's when you are going to get all those subjects and the modules that I'll be talking about and explain to you why are they so important, all those modules that I'll be talking to you about. Okay? Let's look at some of the things where we have got, those alumni, we have got those people who went via Regenesys. Okay? Some are politicians, some are chief directors. We have got a lot of people who went through our doorsteps. Right from Parliament. We have got people who are part of alumni right from Parliament. We have got ministers. We have got professionals. We have got, those guys who are, in provincial legislatures. We have got those people in municipal councils, who fired Regenesys. And they're doing good. You can see, even though we are not, up to the level where we want to see South Africa, but now, at the present moment, at least, you have got improved health facilities. We have been complaining about health issues, health facilities. But now you can see, at least there are some clinics which were built, if you remember the era of Dr. Nkosana Dlamini Zuma, that you've got clinics which were built amongst the people, so that people stop traveling long distances for their health facilities. Okay, but also there are some improvements. At least there is some doctors, there are some nurses, even though not all of them have been employed, but there is some change here and there. But also we've got an increased matric pass rate because of the education system that changed. Okay, whatever challenges that might be there, but we are going there. So you can see there's this light at the end of a tunnel. Today, educators do not just plan, but you've got, that plan that is from the department that comes direct to them. Okay? And then as a result, you don't say that school, these ones did not finish, because at least it forces that they should work, in tandem, so that all those schools at this time of the year, they should be at this level. Okay, they should have done this chapter. So as a result, there's a bit of that improvement there. But also electricity supply, we had challenges with ESCOM when it went through all those challenges there. But you see now there's an improvement, at least, even though we have some areas which are still dark, but now there's some improvement. It's few, load sheddings that are there, and not as a result of, poor ESCOM, but as a result maybe of, vandalism and some other unforeseen circumstances there. But at least there's some improvement. You can see with the social grant service there, there's some improvement to try and fight corruption there in the, receiving of grants by the beneficiaries. At least, there's something that the public sector is doing about it. With the changing of the cards, coming up with new cards, ensuring that the right people get the grants, and those who are not supposed to get the grants, are barred from that. So there is some improvement, but also access to clean water. We've seen with this masterclass challenge that at least now there is, light at the end of a tunnel. We've got some areas which never had running water all along. Can think about the Morotele area, those other areas. Can think of the, the Ndoni Dam there, where they're trying now to, to reticulate, but also clean the water and then supply water to all those far-lying areas there within, the Venda area, okay, Toyando and all those other areas. So you can see there's some improvements here and there. The housing project, the RDP, even though we still have a lot of people who are still waiting, but at least there are some, there's a lack of, some of the things that we are talking about, but at least people have got shelter above their heads. So at least there is some improvement there. Think about training programs. Of course, government came up with SITAs. They came up with the Skills Development Act and the Skills Levies Act, which empowers the employer there for 1% of the remuneration package, to be deducted so that, they can be training. So that's a bit of skilling of our people, okay, through the SITAs, Sector Education Training Authorities, okay? So there's improved training programs there. At least today you can see, people are able to get that free education, right from primary schools, which are non-fee paying schools, there's some food that they get in schools, and also you can right up to varsity, you can get something there, all right? At least for those people. So you will be playing that part there. So at least there's an improvement here and there, okay? And you can be empowered because of coming up with new policies that government can empower you with and can empower our people, okay? You've got equity policies. Today we talk about gender-based violence, and there are a lot of policies that came in order to protect our mothers and our sisters, and so as a result, there's those policies there. People have got that equal share in the wealth of the country. We are no more looking at whether these are males or females. When you open up a small business, even females can open small business enterprises, but also even with positions, because of the Employment Equity Act, to say, let us have that equity, in the workspace. So you can see there's some improvements. Now, more still needs to be done. And what is your role? What do you think your role can be in bringing about more and more change? What impact do you want to bring into the public service? So once you get our degree, it will open up all those, avenues for you to can get in and also play your part. All right. But now you can ask yourself, because we normally say, hey, government, and government. But who is responsible for bringing in change into the public sector? And what are the changes needed in the public sector? You can ask yourself there. What skills do we need? Because we need to bring about change, but we need to be skilled. And what's expected impact you want to have inner change. We don't want a person in parliament who does not even know, legislation and how to draft a policy. Theirs is just to raise up their hands, to say, fine, we vote, fine, it's fine. We want young people, and we talk about people, younger people, new ideas. And if we don't have you, who's going to do that? Okay? So tomorrow you will be seeing me in parliament, and you say, this old man, and I'll be coming up with, ideas of, 1662. So as a result, we need new people, new ideas, fresh minds. Is there job security in the public sector? Other people are asking themselves that. Okay? Now you can see, we want people who can also be multi-skilled. You will see in the BPM program that we talk about different modules that build you in totality, not only in finance, not only in policy, not only in strategy, not only in project management, but, holistically, okay? So you become multi-skilled, just like you can see that. You can turn that into, see that picture there. You can turn it into a wardrobe, you can turn it into a bed, you can turn it, into a desk, just fold it and then it becomes a desk. Just take a chair and you do whatever, your homework or you eat, So you see, it's a multifunctional resource. So we need people who are multi-skilled, okay, who can fit in the different responsibilities which are there in the public sector. All right. Now, let us look at this Bachelor of Public Management that we're talking about. Remember, at Regenesys, we have got both contact and online registrations. So you can be a class and attend online, or you can be contact. That is, you can come to Regenesys and have your classes there. All right? Now, the Bachelor of Public Management, when you look at what we are aiming at achieving there, we want to enhance management and leadership potential of individuals in the public and development sectors. Since the core curriculum addresses various public management disciplines, remember, I said it's not only based on finance or only on communication or only on quality. No, it encompasses almost everything there, all the different aspects of you as a person in the public sector there. Okay, so those are the disciplines which are offered from year 1 to year 3. All right. Now, the modules include some of those, and we'll be talking about the public management, public human resource, finance, economics, policy, strategy. We'll talk about them one by one. Now, I want to take you to this, what it is all about. This BPM, we call it BPM, Bachelor of Public Management. It's an entry level 7. Okay, you can see it's a senior. Okay, it's above the certificate. Okay, it's a degree. It's a 3-year course. It's a level 7. Now matric is level 4. Okay, and then when you do certificates, it's level 5. Okay, when you do some diplomas, it's a level 6. Now you can see the BPM is level 7. You see that it's very high. Okay, that's the SAQA ID for this BPM. You can check it in the SAQA website there, 97259. Okay, it's got 365 credits. So you can see it is quite good in everything. It takes 3 years, and what we need, you should have matric, or you should have level 5 or level 6. Now, remember when you say matric, if you don't have a certificate at that junior level, it might, maybe outside matric, okay? If now you are working and you've been working for, certain number of years, we look at your age, we look at the position you are holding, we can do what we call recognition of prior learning, where we look at how much you know, how much experience you have, and then we look at whether we can, recognize your prior learning, and then as a result, then we can allow you to do the BPM. All right, even if you don't have level 5 or you don't have level 6, but it will depend on how good you are and whether you get a matriculation from the matriculation board. not only standard 10, okay, with a lot of, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, okay? At least you've got 7, 6, 6, 6, 5, 7, 4. You see, we can look into that and look at what you are doing at the present moment, how far you are with the position that you are occupying in the public service. Because remember, guys, there are other people who, because of our background, you find that, because of your experience, you are already at a higher position, a very high position, but you don't have, that degree. And then young people come in and they take over, when young people come in and you feel threatened. So once you get your BPM, you say, okay, fine, can you please, look at whether you can RPL me, and then you can do your BPM, and you are sure that you are fit, you fit in that position that you are holding. You might be a director or, assistant director or deputy director, but you find that, you still lack, that degree, which is a senior degree in the public service. Then we can talk. All right. Now look at the core modules there. The modules that you'll be doing, you have got first year public management 1, public management 2, that's the second year, and public management 3. All right? And then you have got public human resource 1, 2, 3, economics 1, 2, 3, public finance management 1, 2, 3, public policy management 1, 2, 3, and public strategic management 1 and 2. That is the strategic planning module that talks about strategic planning. Okay? So that public strategic management, you do it only first year, second year. Okay? You are through. All right. And then we have got personal mastery. Personal mastery at Regenesys is compulsory. Whether you are doing ACPM, whether you are doing whatever degree, it is compulsory because it kills about 5,000 credits. And it also helps you to balance your life. Okay? Emotional intelligence, that's where you're going to talk about financial intelligence. That's where you're going to talk about emotional intelligence, intellectual intelligence, that intellectual quotient, IQ, PQ, physical quotient, or physical intelligence. We are going to talk about professional intelligence, So it will help you with all those intelligences. Okay? You don't necessarily write an exam, but you compile a POE, and you start by looking at what your challenges are when it comes to finance, when it comes to emotions, when it comes to spirituality, spiritual intelligence, when it comes to, so you look at all those things, and then you come up with what you want to see change, okay? And how you are going to achieve that, all right? It's not difficult, it's very encouraging, and it's very good because after you've completed it, you know yourself in and out. And you know your plans. You can plan on your health, on how you're going to improve your health. You can plan on how you're going to improve your body, physical health. Are you going to exercise? Are you going to take what type of food? And all those other things. With finance, how are you going to manage your finances? How are you going to ensure that, month end, you still have something that you left last month? How can you look at that and ensure that at least you use your money wisely, and then you can live happily, even when you go for your retirement, okay? You don't fall within the category of I blew it, all right? So personal mastery is very good. Now, let us look at these modules I was talking about. Now, public management, when you look at public management, you are talking about everything that's related to managing the public sector, right from, how people are managed and the different resources that you have there, okay? You've got intergovernmental relations there. You've got national, you've got provincial, you've got local. How are they related? What are the responsibilities of national government, local government, provincial government? Why are they important? Who are the stakeholders there? And what do you do when you talk about public management, managing the public? Okay? You are looking at all those things on how the public is managed, but also how you can come up with ideas on the improvement of managing in the public sector. Okay? You are going to do human resource. Remember, human resource, you deal with so many things. You deal with skilling. You deal with labor relations, where you are going to look at the different labor laws. You are going to look at human resource, that thing. at Labor Relations Act. We are going to look at the Skills Development Act. We are going to look at the Employment Equity Act, Basic Conditions of Employment Act. We are going to look at all those acts. Okay, it's part of human resource. We are going to look at recruitment. How do you recruit people? Okay, how do you do, your job evaluation? Okay, how do you ensure that? How do you see that you need people in this position? Okay, how do you come up with a post, and how do you go about recruiting? Okay, you have all those stages there that we'll be talking about there in human resource. But what about performance? How do you measure performance? How do you ensure that people are doing what they're supposed to do? So all that is part of human resource. How are you going to strategize so that you are aligned with the policies, actually with the vision and the goals as well as objectives of your department? All right. So that is part of public human resource, on managing that resource, which is so important, which is human. You've got financial resource, you've got material resource, okay? But now this is human resource. Everything about, people in the employment or in the teams that you have within your organization and within your department. And economics, where you are going to look at, what do we mean when you talk about rand-dollar exchange? What do we mean when we talk about, the direct foreign investment? What do we mean when we talk about repo rate? How are we related to the economy of other countries? Okay, you don't get that deep. Don't worry. Don't say I didn't do, economics. I didn't do economics at school. It doesn't matter. Okay, we'll start, elementarily with you, introduce you to economics, for you to understand what is economics. Why is it so important that we should understand economics? So that you understand when you see people there, selling fat cakes, magwenya, or people selling sparkle, So you start understanding that, people having that car wash, and it's Chisanyam. You start understanding that. That is part of economics. Okay, public finance management. Okay, now you've got the Public Finance Management Act. Now you always hear the Auditor General, complaining about poor usage of finances by municipalities, maybe by some provincial departments and all those other things. Okay, now you ask yourself, but these guys, so you are going to do that so that you can understand how money is supposed to be used, how a budget is supposed to be done, and how you are supposed to monitor the implementation of that budget, so that you should be in line with the act, that is the Public Finance Management Act. Okay? If you're in a municipality, then it will be the Municipal Finance Management Act. So public finance management, that module will introduce you and make you understand how funds are allocated, through the Division of Revenue Act there by that's in the Minister of Finance, right up to when it reaches provinces and municipalities where you have service delivery, and how much and how that money is supposed to be utilized, okay, to bring about services to communities, right? But policy, what is policy? Now you'll understand how to come up with a policy. All right, once you are in the public sector, you have to understand the policies which are there, okay, in different departments. If you are in health, for example, there are policies which are related to health. If you are in education, there are policies, okay? But now you can even scrutinize those policies and see the good and the bad of those policies. But you can also come up with policies, in different departments, you come up with policies which are aligned to that department. So as a result, you must be able to come up with a policy, and you must be able to manage that policy. Okay. But also strategic management, I said a bit about it, that you have to strategize. Remember, you have got challenges which are there in the communities, challenges which are there in the public, all right? And then government comes up with policy. Okay. And you look at that policy, And how are you going to implement that policy? You need to strategize. So you go to strategic planning. You plan, you strategize on how that policy is going to implement it. In coming up with that state plan, that state plan culminates into programs and projects. That's when you have projects. They come from strategic planning. And then you run those projects. Projects like, the tarring of streets, road construction, piping, water purification, building of RDP houses. All those other things are projects. They stem from programs. Okay. So as a result, you will understand the relationship between a policy, strategic management, and programs and projects. Okay. Now, remember I said in the third year, you don't do strategic management because already you have done it enough. Now, after you have done that, you've got electives. Electives are those that because we realize that other people are from municipality, other people opt to be in education, other people opt to be in health. So as a result, you can all, those that we talked about earlier, these are the foundational, we call them the core modules. When you do this, these are the basic modules for you to understand the public sector. But now you can specialize, you can choose and say, okay, but me, I deal mostly with challenges between employers and employees. Then you can strictly do labor relations. We know it's part of human resource, but now here you get into detail, you do labor relations. Okay? Labor relations management or management of labor relations in the public sector. Okay? Then you will understand about, such stewards, you'll understand about unions, you'll understand about the lockouts, you'll understand about strikes, you'll understand about, all those things, the CCMA, you'll understand about the labor courts and whatever. Okay, you'll understand the basic conditions of employment act, why people are saying, their conditions of employment are not good, they don't work in good conditions, they suffer from this and that because of, maybe it's freezing where they are working and then they go on strike. And you'll understand all those things related to the relationship between employer and employee. Local government management, then you have maybe from a municipality. This will be good for you. You'll do those core, but you will choose also to do local government management. Now, you choose two of these. You can choose labor relations, you can choose together with local government management, where you are going to look into, how local government is run. When we say people are councillors, what are the responsibilities? A mayor, or executive mayor, a type of municipality. Why do we say this one is a metro? It's a metropolitan municipality. What are the differences there? Okay, and IDP, that thing, integrated development plan. How does it come about? You'll understand when you talk about indigent communities. When you talk about people that are exempted from, when you talk about basic services, when you talk about all those things which are done by a municipality, you will understand them better when you do local government management. Okay? And then mentoring and coaching. You can do mentoring and coaching because that's where you are going to look at the people who are at a certain level in the workplace and they lack maybe, that management prowess or that self-motivation because you see that these guys can go higher and you want to, to push them so that they can take up higher positions. So you can mentor them, okay? Mentor them, prepare them for more responsibilities. Or you can coach them. Coaching people, you say, I know you are good at this and that, but you've got a challenge when it comes to that and that, okay? So you hone the skill of this person. You try to sharpen it so that he can use his skills to the best of his ability. That's coaching, right? That is done in the different departments where you mentor or you coach, some of the guys, instead of taking them to disciplinary hearing. You see, but okay, let me train them, okay? And when they're still not doing good, let me coach them, okay? You try by all means before you fire a person. Monitoring evaluation. Monitoring evaluation is very important because everywhere where you have got people working or implementing policies, strategies, trying to realize their visions as well as the goals of their their department or of their organizations, someone must be there to monitor and evaluate. I give examples about your child. When your child is taught at school, your child is taught, and then the teacher will give your child homework. Why is the teacher giving your child homework or an assignment or a classwork? Now, the teacher is monitoring the progress of that child, the understanding of the child, whether that child understood the lesson that was taught to this child, okay? So that they can see whether they need some intervention strategies. That's why teachers are the ones who can tell the parents, hey, your child has got dyslexic. She's unable to read with meaning. She's unable to read certain ways. She reads them vice versa, and all those other things. Because some of the things we don't see them as parents. But because of monitoring, because teachers monitor, these kids, they're able to see whatever challenge that is there with the child. So they are monitoring. All right? Then the child can do corrections, okay, remedial work. All right? So they see how far the child has grasped, okay, the content that was given to that child. But now, at the end of the quarter, they evaluate. We call that an exam. Okay, they give them quarterly exam. That is evaluation. They are saying, okay, fine. We were monitoring. We were saying the child is not good at this and that. We're trying to come up with more ways of trying to let the child understand. So at the end, then let us evaluate now. So the child now will write without seeing, without having an opportunity to go and look into another book and one. So that we can see whether the child has grasped. Then that is evaluation. And then you get your report. We call it an evaluation report. And then you are able to communicate now with the teacher. To say, okay, I see you've written one. No, that child is good. It's only that I think if she plays too much or he plays too much, what. So by the time the child is evaluated at the end in December, already, that's why sometimes at primary, with the foundation phase, already the teacher can tell you whether the child will remain at the end of the year, so that they can improve, and then next year they can remain and improve themselves, okay? Or whether this child is going to pass the end of this year. Already the teachers can tell you, because you have been communicating with them, they've been monitoring and evaluating the progress and of your child, all right? That's monitoring and evaluation. So it's like that in the public sector, with programs that we are running, okay? With the different strategic plans that we're implementing, okay? With the different responsibilities that are bestowed upon us as municipalities, as provinces, as national, and the different departments there at national level. Now, someone must ensure that these guys, that is part of one, governance. There must be a governing structure, okay? Now, you can choose project and program management, where we say there are projects, skilling people can be a project on its own. Building a road can be a project on its own. RDP housing, building of houses can be a project. You've got big projects, you've got small projects, okay? You've got long-term projects, you've got short-term projects. Other projects are part of a bigger program, because projects come from programs, all right? So from that big program, like if you remember, there was an AIDS awareness program. Then later, because it was big, then they had to subdivide it into smaller, projects, so that it can be easily run and achieved. So projects are short-term deliverables. Programs are long-term deliverables, okay? So with a project, you can start it now and say, by this time, I would have completed it, okay? But it can be part of a program, so that with AIDS awareness program, there was this thing of condomization, okay? Condoms were distributed in the different public spaces, okay, in taverns, in what, in bars, in, condoms free of charge. That was a project on its own, because we had to see as to whether people have been doing that, and, were people, using them, taking them, are they finished? Do we have to supply more boxes and what? It was a project, it was related to condoms, okay? And there was this one of, safe sex. So the health department officials would go to schools, they would go to townships, in the community halls, talking to people about practicing safe sex. You see, it was a project on its own. We had Sister Bettina, if you remember, okay? where it was a film, and then people there were, you were shown that a doctor was helping people, whatever, but people were not aware that he's also HIV positive, but he was living normal. You understand? So you see all those were projects. All of them were part of what? Of the program, AIDS awareness program. All right. So you'll do that. You'll do project and program management, but also public ethics. How to behave, how to be professional. What are those things there in the public sector that are ethics? Okay? That's why sometimes people are blamed to say, you have brought our department into disrepute. Okay? You jumped certain ethics when you hired people, when you employed, when you used money, you were unethical. Okay? So you want people to have that ethical conduct. All right? So when you do this, then even when you go now into the public sector or go into your organization, you understand ethics. You can come up with, code of ethics where you say, we don't allow this, we don't allow that, and what. As long as it's in line with the policies of government. All right? Public procurement, how you source resources for your projects and for your municipality and for your department, your organization. How do you come up with this thing of Black economic empowerment, BEE? How do you procure and then how do you choose that this, you say others are BEE compliant, others are not. You see, so all those things you'll do under this public procurement so that you understand procurement, you understand how to source resources, how to buy, whether you are going to, some of the things you are going to let other people do that, or you can do that as a department. Okay? We talk about outsourcing and we talk about insourcing. All right. So that you can look into when you do this module. Quality and customer management. It's important that we have got quality service that we meet out to communities. Okay. Now, as public servants. So in the public sector, you must understand quality and customer management. How do you deal with customers? Who are your customers? Who are the stakeholders? What resources are you using? What standards do you measure your quality on? All right? Do you standardize your procedures on how you do things? Okay? Or do you just do them without quality? Today, you tar this street, and then tomorrow, water takes the whole tar route. There is just potholes everywhere. What was the quality of the material you used there? Okay? So you do that, quality, and how to treat customers. Customers are the clients. Those patients who come to our hospital, they are your customers. Those people who come to pay rent at the municipality, they are your customers. The community that comes and complains to you about, poor electrification of their area, there's always load shedding, what, and you are their counselor. Those people are your customers. Okay? The fact that you deal with them, you give them a service, they are your customers. Without them, you don't have a job. Who will be coming to pay rent? Okay? So as a result, how do you treat them? You remember there's a white paper on transformation in the public service, that one which came up with the Batupele principles. Okay? It was because government was looking at bringing about change in customer relation management. Okay? How the public is serviced by the public employers or employees. All right? So those are electives. All right. Now, let's look at careers. You do that BPM and you say, but because remember, it's going to help you in governance. It's going to help you to be able to change, how departments are governed. All right? Because you'll be having that knowledge. You'll have achieved the skills to can do that, to can come up with policies, to can monitor and evaluate all the different projects and programs which are run in the different departments. Okay? Now you can work national government there, you've got SOEs, you've got management positions in the SOEs, you've got SAA, ESCOM, Telcom, Trusted, Postnet, many. All right? But also in government departments up there, national. Okay? You can help them there. And you can help government sometimes when they come up with policies, you can advise certain ministers. You can advise the president or the presidency. Provincial government, you can be, an HOD, you can be a chief director or deputy chief director, you can be a project manager, middle management or administrator, of certain sections of the provincial government. You can be a policy analyst, can be an advisor to the mayor, human resource. You can deal with human resource. There are so many positions in human resource. There's part of labor. There's part of skills development. That is development. That is because you've got human resource and you've got human resource and development. Okay? So you can be part of development where you look at training and skilling of the people in your organization or in the department, but also dealing with SETAs, sector education training authorities. So you can be an advisor. You can deal with HR. Okay? You can deal with, labor disputes, there in the HR department. You can deal with recruitment of people, you can deal with, managing the performance of employees. There's so many avenues open for you when you have done that degree. Okay, Bachelor of Public Management. In local government, you can be an analyst. Okay, you can be a project manager. You can be a compliance officer. You can be a municipal manager. Look at the skills which are still in demand today. Governance, budgeting, people management. So many are still there for you to can grab. All right. So once you do this, you are able to enter anywhere, national, provincial, local government. You are ready. If now already you are in the government sector, then you can get a higher position. You can apply for higher position. Okay? Because now you'll be sure that I understand this. This I can use. And it will help you so much. Okay. Now, that is my take as far as that is concerned. Thank you so much. We'll open up for questions and answers. And those which are related to management, I've got my colleagues who will also be helping me in that. Okay. Thank you so much. Who do I have here?
Thank you so much, Dr. Mr. Block. So what we can do, those that are comfortable with raising their hand, they can raise their hand. If not, they can type on the chat box. We'll read out the questions. In the meantime, while we're waiting for questions, what I can do, I can just brief people in terms of should they want to register for the program, what are the processes that they need to follow? Thank you again, Mr. Block, for the insightful session. I'm really inspired myself. So what happens is that, say you're interested, you really want to hop into the qualification and start with the next intake. What you can do, there's different options that you can use to be able to join Regenesys and study the Bachelor of Public Management. On our website, there's an inquiry form that you can complete where you put in your names, contact number, and email address. One of our student advisors will definitely contact you to assist you with the process. Or another option is I will leave out my contact details on the chat where you are able to then reach out to me, and then I'll direct your query to the student advisors to assist you. And just to highlight, should you think about the process of registration, maybe you have a financial challenge or you don't understand in terms of, well, what is it that I need to do? You need to then compile a profile where you produce your matric certificate, like Mr. Block mentioned, in terms of what is it that you need entry requirement for this program. You need your matric or any other certificate that you have. You need your ID copy of your ID certified. We need your CV. And also, if you have any other qualification that you've completed, you can include that and submit to the student advisor. And in terms of the registration, you would need to at least pay an application fee of 1,170 so that we can be able to process your application. And when it comes to the fees, we have different payment options. You do not need to only pay upfront. You can pay your fees monthly, you can pay per semester or annually. And we know that people from the public sector, there are bursaries that are offered by the employee. We are able to assist you by providing you with the acceptance letter only after, of course, you've submitted your documents. Then we are able to issue with the acceptance letter so that you can submit to apply for your bursary at work. Yeah. And I see Nicolene posted a question. Hi, ma'am, I'm interested in the course. Could you kindly connect me with a consultant? All right, Nicolene, let me write my email here. You can send your details, your email and contact number. I will then connect you with a student consultant that will assist you. My email address is winniep@regenesys.net. So you can send your email, contact number, and the program that you're interested in. Yeah. For those that are looking at other options in terms of fees, we also have what we call flexi payment, where we then allow you to break down the payment into smaller amount, where minimum at least that you need to pay is 900 Rand per month towards your studies while you're studying. And then you can, of course, finish the rest of the fees after you've completed your studies. We also have that option. Any other question you can type? Okay, I see Yasanda. To me, it's not a question, just a way of saying I'm so excited about this course I started this month. Amazing. I'm happy for you. Hope you enjoy all the journey. Just to highlight, what happens is that when you study with Regenesys, we have a student support, because I know some of us, it's been a while since we've been in school, so maybe you are in terms of how do I go about, how am I going to remember the assignments date, how am I going to remember things that are required. So what happens is that over and above the facilitation, we have student support. These are the teams that are available to hold your hand and remind you with the assignment, remind you when you have class, to say, hey, don't forget, tomorrow you have a class. And also, should you miss a class, we also have a recording of our classes where you're able to view the recording and watch it at any time convenient to you. Also, maybe we also have recordings of previous years. Maybe you are those students that prepares ahead. You want to see a session before you go to another session. You can then view the older videos that we have of the session that were held before. Yeah.
Ma'am, we also help them with the slides that we use in class.
Oh,
After we are through and maybe you missed the class, you are going to get the slides. Everyone in that class will get the slides, even though maybe you just attended during lunch because you didn't get time. You'll get the slides, and you'll also get the recordings. And then we have got the revision classes where we revise with you. Even before the exam, we can revise with you so that we prepare you for the exam. So you always have us there. If you have any challenge, and then we have got WhatsApp group, you form a WhatsApp group with your classmates who are in that class. You choose a leader, and that person will be your class rep. And then we hold meetings with them every month so that they come up with whatever advice or concerns that they have on behalf of the class. Okay? So, we are with you all the way. We don't see the reason why you should fail. We help you at the end of each module. After I've taught a module, on a Friday or on the last day of the module, we sit down I talk to you about the assignment, how you must fill the assignment, the questions, what they need you to do, what you are going to get into. If maybe it needs, some website, get into this one, read it, answer in this fashion. It's not easy to fail at Regenesys. And once you pass, the first module, I'm telling you, you'll want to study all the way. We've got people who started with ACPM. They are busy with their doctoral degrees now.
Yeah.
They've done, everything with Regenesys.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I see Tulani here. Hi all, mine might be a different question, not related to the presentation. I'm currently holding a level 7 in public administration from another institution. I'm interested in level 8. Yes, Tulani, as much as it's different from what was presented, however, we do have a postgraduate diploma in public management. It is an NQF level 8, equivalent to an honors degree. You can then apply for the program with the NQF level 7 qualification. So you can also send your details to winniep@regenesys.net. I will definitely allocate you to a student recruitment department where they will be able to assist you. Thank you, Asanda. I don't see any other question. I know that the class was supposed to be until 5 o'clock. We were over by 9 minutes. If there are no any other question, I will close the session. However, should you maybe later on have a question, you can email me, you can contact us on our website. There's a chat box, chat to us, call us. We have a reception ready to take your calls. Okay, sorry, I see Yolanda Bartman. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Sis Sweeney. This is a comment. I wanted to ask about financial support. So thank for the flexi financial support. Yes, Yolandi, Yolandi, you can contact us as well. If you are interested, maybe you have a financial challenges, don't worry, contact us. We'll see how we can assist you to ensure that everybody gets education. Like I said, call us, chat with us. There's different platforms that you can use to reach out to us. Reach out, we'll definitely assist to ensure that you start your journey of education. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Donald. Thank you, Garabo.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And thank you guys for attending, and good luck with your decisions. Hope to meet you in class. Thank you and bye.
Bye.